Welcome to the Cardone Solutions Podcast. I am your host. My name is David Bradley, training facilitator and coach with Grant Cardone, bringing you weekly sales solutions, tips, strategies, and attitude adjustments from the 10X world of Grant Cardone. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Grant Cardone's 10 habits for success. Recently on the IG, that's Instagram for you older folk like me, Grant posts 10 habits for success, and we're going to break them all down together one at a time. But before we do that, let's get a quick word from our sponsor. The Cardone Solutions Podcast is brought to you today by Cardone University's advanced level coaching program. Check this out. Here's what we know at this point. 84% of managers too busy to train and develop their team the way they wish they could. And then most managers, well, they got into management simply because they could produce and they were never taught how to train people and do that in a way that motivates and transfers the very skills that got them into management in the first place. Lastly, there is an 88% improvement in production and productivity when coaching and training gets involved. So what does that mean? It means enter the Cardone University advanced level coaching program where we literally become a virtual extension of your management team. Here's what comes with: complete access to Cardone University, over 30 plus managed learning courses facilitated by a certified Cardone coach like me. Okay. Our process will increase engagement and accountability with your team. You can have us at a fraction of the cost of hiring somebody to do that in-house or hiring a training manager. We're going to work with you and your team to increase sales volume, sales profitability, while lowering extraneous costs such as turnover and expanding your market share. So for a complimentary sales process and training analysis plus customized training proposal, call 310-777-0352 or email david@grantcardone.com. That's 310-777-0352 or david@grantcardone.com. Talk to you soon. Alrighty. So Grant Cardone's 10 habits for success. Let's just define habit for a second, shall we? A habit can be defined as a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. Smoking. That's my story. Never mind. So by definition, I don't smoke anymore though. I gave it up, but it was difficult. It was hard to give up. Okay. So that by definition. So, and ironically though, there's nothing good or bad about it, because what did I replace smoking with? Exercise. And that became my new habit. So the habit in and of itself, there's nothing good or bad about it. Just something that you do on the regular. And there's good habits, there's bad habits, and then there's some neutral habits, okay? Your habits, however, are doing one of two things. My habits are habits. Let's do that. Our habits are doing one of two things. They are either making us better or they're making us worse. And there is no middle ground on that. So before we drop the 10 habits, good habits for success, let's do an action idea. Let's do a quick exercise, okay? I'd like you to just take a quick moment to identify your habits now. So grab a notebook, draw a line right down the middle. One side should be labeled out good habits. The other side should be bad habits, okay? And then just take 5 minutes, list them all out. And while we're going over the 10 habits for success I'm about to give you, what I want you to do is look for a couple things. Once you've identified the good habits, once you've identified the bad habits, look for this. What are you already doing that you could probably be doing a little bit more of? What are some ways to replace your bad habits with good habits? Gave you an example earlier. Okay. And how much, this one could hurt, how much do your bad habits cost in terms of two things: money and self-worth? Ooh, yeah, that could hurt. Okay, so you ready for this? Let's go over Grant's 10 habits for success. Habit number one. Habit number one is take action immediately. Grant says if it's worth doing, do it now. Okay? Control over your life means you can start stuff. You're never going to get to where you're going or where you even want to go until you start. Okay? Habit number two, hit targets. Never reduce a target and then do whatever is ethically necessary to achieve it. The end piece of being in control means that you finish what you start. Okay? Number three, keep stats on vitals. Not just your blood pressure, not those vitals. I'm talking like if it's important to you, you should measure it. Okay? The middle section of control is you being able to adjust and adapt to what is going on in real time. Okay? And I'll give you a little bit more on this when we get to habit number 7, but just start thinking about that. Okay? Habit number 4, it's the 80-20 rule. 20% has to pay for the 80% that doesn't. Cardone Solutions, Grant Cardone, 80% of what we do here, 100% free. Okay, that means that we get to charge well for the 20% that we do. Okay, this is how we roll. So how much value can you deliver, and how much value can you, and can you do it in a way, the value that is, can you deliver it in a way that helps and serves to a degree that you can hold your price and get your price? Like, you're the value added proposition in this market, because everything's commoditized now, right? Okay, habit number 5, make decisions quickly. Yes or no. Really avoid the maybe, okay? The wealth mindset, do or do not. Yoda had a wealth mindset. Do or do not. There is no try, there's no maybe, okay? Grant said at a boot camp of ours, he says, I make decisions quickly so I can sell things quickly. Because if you do it a certain way, you give yourself permission to ask other people to do the same thing. Built-in ethics, he says. Love that quote, okay? Habit number 6, beat the sun up. Get an early start on the day. There's 1,000 reasons why this is a great idea. But it all starts with you getting a victory over the average low potential version of you trying to convince you to stay comfortable and hit that snooze button. Versus the true potential version of you jumps out of bed, doesn't hit the snooze button, and attacks the day. It's a victory over the average version of you. Make sense? Habit number 7, I told you I'd come back to this in a second. Repeat successful actions. Double down on what worked. If it's working, no need to reinvent that wheel. Make it better, more effective, more efficient. Yeah, absolutely. Change it all up for the sake of change? Hell no. Probably not a good idea. Number 8, habit number 8. Cut out the nonsense. You know what those are? Reward activities that can't reward you. In Grant's 100 Ways to Stay Motivated course inside Cardone University, he says one of the titles of one of the videos in there is cut out all behavior that lowers your self-esteem. So bite that bullet. You know what those are. Bite the bullet, rip off the Band-Aid, embrace the suck. Do the right thing. Habit number 9, acknowledge strangers. Oh my God, how important is this right now? Go out of your way to acknowledge somebody you don't know. Yeah, right? Practice the 10-foot rule, always. The short answer to who's got your money is strangers. Strangers have your money. Taking that a little bit deeper, the moment a group of people deny the humanity of another group, terrible things happen. So if we're going to think globally and act locally, acknowledge strangers. Acknowledge fellow humans. Habit number 10. Be courageous. It's be courageous. Practice a courageous act daily. Okay? In the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, be true to your own act and congratulate yourself if you have done something strange and extravagant and broken the monotony of a decorous age. It was a high counsel that I once heard given to a young person: always do what you are afraid to do. Whew. Yeah. Okay, so I just gave you Grant's 10 habits for success. What's next? All right, so just come on now. Admit it. You need work in all 10, don't you? I know I do. Okay? The question is, what are you going to do about it? Okay? If you had to maybe reorder these in order of importance, how would that look? Maybe that could be your homework. Yeah, right? Or what if you wrote these 10 on a 3x5 index card so that you could look at them at the end of the day? Put it next to your bed. Look at it at the end of the day. See how well you did. Did you get all these things done today? Doesn't really matter so much how you execute on these things. What matters is that you do. Execute, that is. Okay? You can like, retweet, thumbs up to your heart's content, but it's in the doing that gets shit done. So if you got something out of it, awesome. Okay? Share it with somebody else. Retweet this sucker if you found it on Twitter. If it's on the LinkedIn, get it out there as well. Text it to a buddy. Okay? And thank you in advance for doing that. But if you're not taking action immediately, if you're not hitting targets, if you're not keeping stats on your vitals, if you're not practicing the 80-20 rule, if you're not making decisions quickly, if you're not beating the sun up, if you're not repeating successful actions, if you're not cutting out the nonsense, if you're not acknowledging strangers, if you're not being courageous, then what are you going to do about it? This has been another exciting episode of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. I am your host of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. My name is David Bradley, training facilitator and coach with Grant Cardone. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. If you've got some value from it, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If it's helped you though too, just like I said, share that sucker out. Get that out to other people so not only you are benefiting from it, but somebody else as well. And I will leave you with the words of Grant Cardone as always, which is be great. Nothing else pays. See you soon.